I didn't realize how depressed England was as a
Yeah.
country, how much of an epidemic depression and various personality disorders were in England until I came to Poland. I lived in Warsaw and I was looking around and I was just thinking, wow, people here are happy to be alive. They may not have it easy, they may not have an easy life. They may have, a problem with job, with work, etc. But they've just got this, they just seem happy to be alive. Yeah. They seem to have this lust for life. And I'm surrounded by people who aren't depressed. And I thought that was amazing. And I think that there's humanism here and there's spirituality here that goes beyond just the Vatican's diktats, the Vatican's doctrines. There's a spirituality here and humanism.
Yeah, but certainly in the UK,
Yeah,
life is becoming more secular.
more secular.
More secular, yeah.
Well, secular, I think that Poland is perfectly secular.
Not
You
much.
you can be whatever religion you want here,
yeah,
and
but
it's
you
not
still
really
have
an
that-
issue. Yeah.
The church here is
The church,
important.
okay, that's true.
Religion
yeah.
is still
right. I see what you
important.
mean. Yeah. So I don't like. I'm not. I think it's funny this word secular. Yeah, because. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
secular, you don't believe in anything. You're just
The church in Poland has massive not only influence but massive property. Land ownership and all of these things. The Vatican is massive there. And the Vatican are beasts. They're Satanists secretly, and that's a big and bad thing. But what's interesting in Poland as well is there's a big atheist movement, and this is
small one.
it's no, it's not small at all, not small at all. But
Compared to
often you
Christianity.
find that it's this this quite ignorant kind of atheism. I don't mind, I don't mind someone who doesn't believe, but it's this reductionist atheism, where, and especially this kind of the scientific dogma, yeah. So often, if what seems to be happening in Poland is whatever kind of intellectual and political territory the Catholic Church cedes seems to be gained by this Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation science dogma, take the vaccine, wear your mask kind of religion. And
Stop
it's like
eating
a
meat.
religion, yeah? So that kind of comes in then, and those people are atheists and so on, yeah? So, and it's kind of, you can say, oh, it's not religion, but it's just, it serves that very much the same function as the Catholic Church, yeah, to control people and to stop them gaining
Certainly,
knowledge.
if someone doesn't believe in a God or any higher power, you can just implement any ideas you
Can't,
know.
but even if they do, you can do the same thing, yeah.
For example,
maybe a similar thing, yeah.
because it's hard to believe that this world came from nothing. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It is hard to believe, and I don't believe it. Yeah.
It's impossible
Yeah.
because for example, you look at the phone.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first idea you will have? Someone made this phone, and you look at the world and you say, "Oh, it came from nothing."
Pretty much, yeah.
Or it gave
because
birth to itself.
someone did. You know that someone made the
Caused
phone.
it.
You know that someone made that phone, right?
Yeah.
You know that someone made that phone,
And the phone is not that perfect, but the
Yeah.
world is perfect. Everything is working in unison.
right? Yeah.
then you
Or people
say-
can't see that, and
Yeah.
I think from a very young age, when you're bombarded with, when your relationships are terrible, and at school you don't learn true things, you don't learn in the proper way. People just don't see the beauty of the world. Yeah, I think people are conditioned when they grow up to not see the beauty of the world, just to see ugliness. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
then they start
and the
blaming-
music. You go to school and you have to listen to that fucking horrible song, Baby Shark. Yeah, Baby Shark. And how does a kid who has to suffer Baby Shark every day for a week,
Man,
how do they see the beauty in the world? You know, and this is part of it. This is part of it. So then they don't. It doesn't seem natural to think that there's. It doesn't seem natural to think that there's an organizing power of the universe that is fundamentally perfect. And when you listen to Baby Shark from 6 years old, you
Yeah,
know?
because everyone they think that life should be always good, good, good. But
Right.
how do you know that something is good if you didn't experience bad?
Right. Yeah,
you see,
I agree. I agree with that.
it's part
yeah.
of life.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And you've got to think. You know, I think it's it's a good way of staying sane.
For sure.
Is when you say, okay, I'm going to try and go into this situation, and this is what I hope will happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
and when something fails, something goes wrong, or something goes not how you hoped, then you've got to look at the wider perspective and think, oh, wait, maybe that's exactly what I needed for my broader, you know, for my broader desires in life, my broader intentions in life. And more often than not, if you look that take that wider perspective, you think, it's good that failed. It's good that I didn't get what I wanted there, because then that made me do this, and that's what I really wanted. Yeah, and that's so. It's good to have that. And I think if you are spiritual, you know, and I would classify you as well as me as spiritual, then you're open to that, and then you start seeing. You're open to seeing it. You start seeing it. Then you start to realize it's real, yeah? That there is that organizing force.
Because exactly when you are spiritual, whatever happens for
Yeah.
you, it means something. Okay,
Right.
I had this good experience.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I had bad experience. I learned something.
Yeah.
It's not always okay. It's bad, so everything is bad. No, it's
Yeah.
you plus one experience.
Right. Yeah.
If you had 10 bad experiences, it's you plus 10 experiences.
Right. That's the new you. Yeah.
It's the new you.
Yeah.
So you always, when you look at it at this point, from this point of view, okay, I'm always learning something.
Yeah.
It's bad or good. It's bad or
Not
good.
only that, but all of your experience will it's not lost when you die. Yeah. Even if you want to look at it materialistically, because all of this new self at the end of all of those trials and tribulations, that is transmitting to the universe all of those previous experiences. Yeah.
You teach it to your kids.
Let me give you an interesting thing. It's good to remember. So this conversation, if I'm having with you now, you have a conversation, you tell someone something, okay? And then maybe later that day, or as the day goes on, they will speak to maybe 5 people, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. And then after speaking to you, yeah? And those 10 people will also speak to 10 people the next day, yeah? So if you ask yourself, how long will it take for, after me speaking to that person and leaving my impression on that person, and him leaving an impression on some other people and some other people and some other people, so for your impression to be transmitted to all of humanity, it's maybe 2 weeks, a month, or the majority of humanity. So you can make a big difference, yeah? And that will last forever then. That will be transmitted forever in the future.
Exactly.
And that's when you're talking about going through suffering and becoming someone new at the end of it. All it takes is one conversation with someone and you've changed the course of history. Yeah?
Mindset shift.
You've got to remember it. Yeah.
Exactly. And now let's move to the fun stuff.
Right.
What do you think about dating in Poland?
Dating,
In comparison with dating in England?
Okay, so dating in Poland, for me personally, I find it way easier. Find it way easier to meet girls and to make the initial first steps into building a relationship. So one cultural difference that I notice about England or Britain and Poland is that flirting in Poland
It's different than
is more of a national sport. Yeah. So it's more fluid, it's more casual, it's more acceptable. You know, you can just go around and like we saw before, you know, like you can just flirt a little bit with everyone and without even thinking about it, you just flirt your way through the day with all the interactions that you have. And and that's good because then you flirt a little bit and that's the first step, the connection, the rapport, and you've made that first step towards building a relationship. Then you can do that 5 times a day.
Yeah.
In Poland. In England it seems to be a different story. It seems to be if you go into an interaction with a stranger and there's you know, I'm not talking about like approaching, I'm talking about at the cafe ordering a coffee. Yeah. And if you smile a bit and give some eyes and say something, you know, a little bit friendly and funny, flirty, then often they already see that as a strategic move that they have to then, you know, calculate, this guy is coming on to me and I don't think so, and no. And so I think in England, everything is very, very formal until it's not. Yeah.
Wow.
It's very, very formal until two people decide, okay, let's flirt now. And then they start flirting. So making that initial step, there's so much resistance to making that initial step where a rapport is building and a relationship is building. And I think for that reason, Poland is I find it way, way more healthy. You know, the dating, I don't want to say market, I want to say the dating culture is so much healthier in Poland. Maybe it's just my perception. What could also be the case, and I think it's a mixture of two things, is that what Polish women look for in a man is somewhat different to what British women look for in a man, and there's much more. Polish women like good eye contact. They like good body language. They like aura and things like that. And British girls are not really, because they're depressed. They're not so sensitive to those things. They're sort of outside of the physical a lot. They're a lot more in their own heads and not in the physical, and in their senses, because of this depression epidemic. So I think Polish girls find it easier to judge a character in a split second. I say, you see this guy and you see in his eyes that he's got these character traits that I'm looking for in a man, and then boom, we're away. We can start getting to know each other. So to cut a long story short, for me, and I think in general as well, I find the dating culture in Poland is so much healthier, and I am so glad to be in my 20s living in Poland and not living in England.